Hey, I'm Spencer.
And I'm Britton.
And I'm Devin.
Since 2011, Buckethead has released 284 albums in his Pikes series, and we're going to listen to them.
3 at a time.
This is Getting Head, a Bucketcast.
Welcome, bots, slogs, friends, and bucketheads. This is episode 18 of Getting Head.
We're legal.
Bucketcast.
We're legal.
Oh, wow. This is the big 18. I mean,
fully
we were
legal
at 16, but like, you know, the statutory laws are all varying in different states. So,
to quote one of my favorite films of all time, 1997's Meet the Deedles, fully legal and live in regal.
That's a really good line.
I know. It's been burned into my brain since I was like, 10 when I saw that movie? I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of that movie, it has long been like very impossible to find because it was never released on DVD.
Yep.
And they just remastered it and re-released it for Disney Plus.
Indeed. A first HD rip of it. I actually watched it with your brother. Weren't you a part of that?
No.
Oh, okay. Weird. Yeah, I guess I watched that with your brother.
Yeah.
It was great.
I'm sure it was.
Devin, have you seen Meet the Deedles?
Oh.
Have I? Maybe.
Paul Walker.
I know it has Paul Walker, R.I.P.
Paul Walker surfs on a river.
He does.
That's really all you need to know about.
He surfs on a river. Dennis Hopper's in it, and he's obsessed with groundhogs. That is a thing that happens.
Interesting. We actually have later a Dennis Hopper related fact, oddly enough.
What? No.
I'm
amazing. Look at that synergy.
I'm looking at who else is in this movie. We got Robert Englund.
Oh, hell
really?
Yeah. Freddy Krueger himself.
Hell yeah.
John Ashton.
You think of him as Freddy Krueger. I think of him as the hero from D. Snider's Strangeland.
What? What is that? I've never even heard of that.
It's a movie written and directed by D. Snider and also starring Robert Englund as the hero in what I think is his only like heroic role. I think he's the villain in everything else. Oh, and he also he directed the first 938 Evil or whatever. That movie actually fucking rules. I love that one.
I have it on DVD.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's super silly, but it's like just silly enough.
The sequel's real bad.
Yeah, the sequel's terrible, but the first one I thought was just good enough.
Do you think D. Snider stays in like costume when he's directing? Does he like look like he does when he's singing for Twisted Sister?
Pretty much. Like I want to say he wore pretty much the entire movie like a
it was half and half.
Yeah, leather vest with no shirt. I want to say like
half his body was like tribal tattooed.
That's right.
And the other half was all like body piercings everywhere. And like facial piercings.
Oh yeah, he had all the
I love committing to a look like that. Like when people do things like that, I'm like, yeah. Okay, like a weird thing where like you're splitting your stuff in half. Like what you're doing, basically.
The soundtrack to that movie's insane. Like
yes.
Full on Ozfest new metal.
It's no End of Days soundtrack, but what is, right?
What about the Judgment Night soundtrack? That's also true.
What about the Dracula 3000 soundtrack?
Oh my god. Devin, have you seen Dracula 3000?
I know the cover art to a T.
It's so
but I've never actually watched it.
I've seen
Dracula 2000.
Okay.
That one's also good.
But Dracula 3000.
It takes it up by 1,000.
Yeah, literally.
Right, that's
look at this. That's great.
That's D. Snider and Strangeland. Oh, they had there's no way they had a fucking comic book. Oh my god.
They definitely did.
What have I been missing out on in life? They have so many comic books.
I should have picked it up. I was at a pawn shop a few years ago and they had that movie unopened for like $1, and I was like, I don't need it that bad.
I've got it on VHS, sitting in storage.
Nice.
It's amazing.
Very early days of chat rooms on that movie, I think. If I remember correctly.
Yeah. If I remember, because that's how he found his victims. I think is like he'd chat him up and then like get him over to his house and then like buy him kill type shit. I think you're totally right on that. Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
D. Snider, really, real trendsetter. Like he saw the rise of chat rooms in murder plots.
Murder rooms.
Murder chat rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the serial murder Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the creepiest thing that's ever happened to you in a chat room?
I think I've been doing creepy stuff in chat rooms.
Of course you have.
Oh.
I want to say probably like fucking with people. I remember Norman and I in high school would go into Juggalo chat rooms.
Yeah.
And thought it was so funny just to like harass people.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, me and Scott would do the same thing on Stormfront. All the neo-Nazis. That was really fun.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Pretty good.
Now they find your address and they say they're gonna find your address and show up to your house, but
yeah.
Not through my VPN.
Hell yeah, dog. So this is an ad now for NordVPN.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey Spencer, how's your boner?
It's great, thanks. No assistance needed.
So, well, I mean, I'll say I think NordVPN might be able to help.
It's a joke for no one.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you listen to the podcast, it's referencing something we talked about.
No one's listening.
I know. You're right. Yeah.
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 I don't know. Outside of AutoZone, mostly just been doing the grind, working, not cleaning my house.
Cool.
Regular stuff. Listening to Buckethead albums for some reason.
As you do, because you are contractually obligated.
Yeah, I am. I signed a pact with the devil, and now I got to listen to 300 Buckethead albums. You're the devil.
Even though this was your idea.
Shut up. No one needs to know that.
You signed a pact with yourself and then drug me into it. Like,
that's great.
Yeah, it is.
It is. I forgot. Britt.
Yeah.
Will you hit me with the bucket fact?
Bucket fact, 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 bucket fact. Because our guest today is such a big fan of the genre of horror films, I figured I'd do a horror-related bucket fact. Because Buckethead is also a big fan of horror.
Okay.
So, starting in 1992, Buckethead formed and made several albums with actor Bill Moseley, who is best known for playing Chop Top in the infamously bad Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Uh-huh.
Classic.
Yeah, classically odd. The two first met through a mutual friend in 1992 when Moseley was starring in a two-man play about Timothy Leary and Charles Manson. After talking a bit to each other, Buckethead invited Moseley to go with him to a friend's recording studio in Santa Monica and record as Chop Top, his character from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, for some music that Buckethead had written. So they went and jammed.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have much contact for about a year after that, but then about a year later, Buckethead invited him to go to New York to appear on his album that kind of broke him, Giant Robot.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Moseley discovered that he had zero rights to the name, character, and likeness of Chop Top. So after breaking the bad news to Buckethead, he was given the name Onions the Scarecrow.
That's a better name.
It is. It's a fucking great name.
Way cooler.
Which he would use for the duration of their time recording together, including the band that they would form a couple years later, the Cornbugs. Their first album was released in 1999, 7 years after the two met and started jamming together. Moseley also appears in the same year on Monsters and Robots on the song Jowls. The Cornbugs would go on to release 5 albums, 3 compilation CDs, 2 DVDs, and an infamously lost film called The American Massacre, which was directed by William Hooper, son of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre Tobe Hooper. The Cornbugs broke up in 2007, and according to Bill Moseley in an interview, he said, from a 2015 interview, he says, I think about 8 years ago, I got a call from Buckethead, and he said, I won't be talking to you anymore. And it's been 8 years, so I guess that's true, but that's just how it is.
That's the best way to break up a band, honestly.
He is his own person, and I figured we got a couple years out of our collaboration, so it's okay. Actually, it was more like 10 years.
That's interesting you bring all that up, because once you said that, I remembered I actually tried to find a stream of this movie a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's impossible to find. Someone actually just uploaded the 2 DVDs they did on the internet, and those have been out of circulation and impossible to find for a long time. So those are around, which is kind of cool. And I watched one of them, and it's weird.
I bet.
It's like their music set to a lot of like old weird films, and then kind of interspersed with like little sketches that they do. Very, very weird.
So, Onion's the Scarecrow. Like, what is his part? What is his, like, what does he play? What does he do in the music?
So, basically he does vocals, but it's more like him doing a character. And most of it isn't singing. It's more like him talking over the music in a character that's very similar to Chop Top.
Okay.
And Chop Top's character is very, very odd. Like
it's like slam poetry.
Yeah,
Sick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like slam horror poetry.
Okay, let me throw something on you. I'm going to change tracks a little bit. Imagine slam poetry, but it's like slam death metal, and then somebody's just doing poetry over it.
Yeah, I mean, that's really
bordering
sick.
new metal.
You're not wrong.
I did inadvertently invent new metal. Wow. What an astute observation. You love
Don't you love when you accidentally invent new metal? It's a good feeling.
I've got it on the brain, you know? I've been at this for a long time, this new metal world.
Yeah. I might say you run a new metal society.
You might say that.
Steeped in karate.
Well, that's great. I love that. That was a great bucket fact.
No, thank you. I do my best.
Do you? I think you do. I think you do enough.
All right. You get to do the next bucket fact. Go fuck yourself.
Go buck yourself.
Get bucket fucked. Bucket fucked. So we all listened to 3 Pikes.
Yeah. Pikes 52, 53, and 54.
Factory, City of Ferris Wheels, and the Frankensteins Monsters Blinds, respectively.
Mm-hmm. That last one, quite a title there.
Quite a title. We'll get to it. It's an interesting kind of horror themed record that doesn't sound horrific in any way at any point, which is something.
Well, if your definition of horror is being
like
kind of bored, that's I don't know.
Like electronic funk rock is the most horrifying thing I can think of. Like last night I was just dreaming of Bootsy Collins with a drum machine, and I woke up in a cold sweat.
Nice.
Pike 52, Factory, released on March 13th, 2014.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear it.
Yeah. I liked this one better than the other 3. The other 2 we listened to this week.
Same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was by far the best one. This was one of the better Pikes I think we've
listened
honestly,
to so far. I really liked it. And what is interesting, we'll kind of get to that later, but the reception on this one is not as positive compared to a lot of the other ones, which I think is really interesting because I really dug it. I thought it was fun. So I don't know.
So it's interesting you say that because when doing research, I actually go through like a lot of reviews and stuff online, and that might be true based on what you read on like social media and stuff, but given like critics and like people who are doing something like we do and like reviewing all of the Pikes, this tends to be like in their top tier of Pikes.
Nice. That's good. As it should be. It's really weird and it's really diverse, and I liked it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Devin?
I thought it sounded like something you would listen to when you're playing a first-person shooter video game?
Yes.
That's what a lot of his music sounds like. A lot of it is very soundtracky, very video game type music.
Very Quake 2 is like that. That's what
that's literally what I thought it was Quake.
Yeah, I think of like PC first-person shooters from the late '90s a lot of the time when I'm listening to Buckethead. Like it's just that's the vibe.
Yeah,
I thought.
Oh, go ahead.
This will be a deep cut for Alaska. I thought the 5th track had a riff that sounded like a straight up Mercy Should Hurt riff.
What was it? It
was like
the one they got into a fight with Theory of Hate over stealing.
I definitely remember that song.
That was like my favorite epic like scene fight of all time.
Truly, yeah, that was beautiful. Like fighting over that riff of all the riffs. It's like, guys.
Every single band that played that style had that song. Like, some of my other notes I wrote down was, I imagine alt kids that were into MSI and bands like that probably really rode for this.
Oh, sure.
Mindless Self Indulgence for anyone unfamiliar. Probably most famous for their song "Faggot" off of Frankenstein Girl. What was the name of that album?
Frankenstein Girls Think I'm Sexy, or something like that.
You know, they're a band that I kind of came back around on in the past few years. Like they're all right. Like growing up,
they're talented.
Growing up, I felt it was like really cringe, but like now I'm like, I kind of get the vibe of this much more than I did then. That isn't to say they are without cringe, but
they do.
You know, they got some bangers. They're all right.
They do. Yeah.
They had that Bitches song, which was kind of had a hook.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't tell at the beginning of the album if it was him doing it with a guitar or if there was an actual turntable.
Oh, yeah. It's probably a guitar.
Yeah, he does a lot of samples and guitar work. I don't think he's actually using like turntables in this much. He's got a producer who does a lot of this stuff called Dan Monti.
So Britt is intent on like saying Dan Monti's name as much as possible every podcast. This is a thing.
Well, because I do believe he's listening to the podcast.
He's not.
And Dan Monti, if you're listening,
no one's listening. You know this.
Someone
Hello.
From the same small town he lives in is listening. So, you know, just putting that out there because it's not a big town that he lives in.
Yeah. All right.
What's the town?
Agora Hills, California.
Okay.
It's just like west of Los Angeles. It's like a kind of far out there suburb. Like from like Los Angeles proper, it's like between a half an hour and an hour drive.
That's not bad.
So yeah, but it's way out there.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so yeah, like I don't think Dan Monti like really plays much of anything unless it's bass. I think mostly what he does on the albums is like mixing and sampling.
And drum programming.
Yeah, lots of drum programming too. Although we don't know for sure if it's him doing all the drum programming.
We don't, but that seems to be the common thought, at least among like discussion threads and stuff that I've read about it. Like it seems to be everybody kind of assumes that Dan Monti is doing the drum programming.
Right.
He should be.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll never know.
He's good at drum programming. If it is him. If it's Buckethead, then
someone's
Buckethead's
good at drum
yeah, somebody's good at it.
Either him, Buckethead, or the mysterious Albert.
Oh right, I forgot about
Who is
Albert.
also credited with producing most of these albums, but no one knows who it is, and it's probably just Buckethead.
Is that like Buckethead Q?
Oh
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we go one, we go Bucket. You know?
Bucketanon.
Buckethead.
Oh my god, we got to make stickers that say Bucketanon.
That would actually be amazing.
That's amazing.
Just with the bucket on it.
Yeah. It's just like a KFC bucket, but it just says Anon.
It's
beautiful. This record was cool. It was fun. There's a lot of like, I like how like it changed a lot. You know, there was a lot of diverse stuff, and it just was like quick, kept going into
the songs
stuff.
are short.
Songs are short.
Yeah, actually, interesting question for y'all. Do you think song 1, Factory Q, do you think that's about QAnon?
It's a great question. I mean, let's hope not.
I'm going to say maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it was made like 4 years before the inception of the Q conspiracy, but still, Buckethead could be Q. He's very mysterious, right?
Yeah.
Has resources.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, probably is on 4chan, so...
Oh, boy.
Everything's lining up, you know? So...
Gives a whole new meaning to Bucketanon.
If you look hard enough, you can make the pieces all connect.
Oh, I know the pieces fit, because I watch them fall away, all right? In the words of Tool. Who is the metal equivalent of QAnon, I believe.
That is accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought in Buckethead Land, this was a nice dynamic, pretty cool album. I think it would be just a great song for a conventional high-speed roller coaster.
I was thinking the arcade in Buckethead Land. This is the soundtrack to that.
I could see that. Yeah.
Like the
There's definitely
pinball games.
Yeah.
You get like an Area 51 machine and like a Time Crisis machine. You know, Time Crisis 4 specifically.
Yo, take this record and throw it on a laser tag arena.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Laser tag for sure.
Yeah.
God, what was the Aerosmith game? Something Revolution?
Revolution X.
The Revolution
Yes.
X. He should get that. Or he should get one and reprogram it and call it Revolution Q.
Well, like where you're shooting the CDs?
No,
is that one?
In Revolution Q, you're storming the Capitol.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah. with Steven Tyler.
Yeah. Dude looks like a shaman.
I'm going to say I think Revolution Q might be the name of this episode.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Pike 53. City of Ferris Wheels. I'm sorry, can you hear that? My neighbor's taking a dump and just turned the fan on. This happens like every night.
Britt gets so mad about it. Like every time. It's really funny.
It's this dumb ambient noise and I'm like, God damn it, just fucking shit and get out, guy.
Like I've asked you this before, but like, do you think it's like this person is trying to hide their shits from whoever they live with? Like they got to mask the sound or whatever?
That's a good question. I should go ask them.
Yeah.
I should just go, like, I know where they live. I'll just go knock
tell me about your bowel movements, bro.
Are they eating a lot of meats?
That's a good question. Yeah, I just got to know about that BM. You know what I'm saying?
There's a really good... Do you guys ever listen to Crank Anchors?
I do vaguely remember Crank Anchors.
Vaguely, yeah.
There's a good one where Sarah Silverman calls these people and is telling them they're from like the city for the plumbing, and they're asking them about their BMs and like how much they're eating and how often they're going, and it's this old couple and they get real perturbed.
That sounds great.
I can imagine. That sounds like a very Sarah Silverman thing.
That's pretty good.
Y'all remember like poop jokes and boner jokes and stand-up comedy? That's something that doesn't really exist anymore.
I'm pretty sure it does. You're just not in the stand-up comedy you're listening to.
Oh, that's probably true. I mean, it probably just shifted over to like the the blue collar comedy tour. Also, how can they call it? Like everyone on the blue collar comedy tour is fucking rich. Like they're white. It's the white collar comedy tour. It's like no matter what shirts they wear, they're all fucking rich.
Yo, I want to.
They know that the fan base isn't.
Even Bill Engvall's a millionaire, and he doesn't deserve, anything but poverty. Like,
but I mean, like, I get it because their fan base is, the fan base. They're getting the short end of the stick at this point,
Yeah, I mean, they're the Snap Benefits comedy tour, basically.
Yikes. I want to start a competitor, the brown collar comedy tour, and we only make poop jokes.
I was going to say, are you like, do you want to be like a fascist brown shirt? Because this doesn't sound like a good idea.
No. Just poop jokes,
Just
the
poop,
poster is just like the poop emoji. That's it.
Yeah. I'll just create a character called Larry the Plumber Guy. And
Jerry the plumber.
That's
Guy.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, back to the album. Pike 53, City of Ferris Wheels, released on March 23rd, 2014.
Wait, so how long was the distance between this one and the previous one?
Oh yeah, so this was released exactly 10 days after the previous Pike.
Nice. Okay.
Right in the buzz train.
Yeah, and that's one thing about a lot of these Pikes is straight up, like, a lot of them are released like 1 week after the previous album,
or sometimes
so
on the
he's just
same
pumping
day.
these out.
You think he does that for to keep the algorithms up with the streaming?
Well, this wasn't
2014. There's
he doesn't put a lot of these up for streaming. Like, they're not available on Spotify.
Well, some of them are, just not all.
Yeah. Some of the beginning ones are, and then some of the newer ones are, but for the most part, like, between like Pikes 30 and like 200, there's really not much.
I on Apple Music, there are, I think there must be more on Apple Music because like a lot of them are on Apple Music.
Oh, I didn't know that.
all these ones are on Spotify.
Nice.
Really?
Nice.
Interesting. Okay. I listen to I basically listen to everything just on YouTube now.
Yeah.
For
Same.
these, just 'cause
It's easier.
that's the only
It's always
place
there.
I've been able to find every single Pike. So anyway, City of Ferris Wheels, 3 tracks, each of them about 10 or 11 minutes long. The first track is 13 and a half.
Yeah.
And oh boy, is it long.
That's true. It is long.
Not as long as the dump my neighbor's taking right now, but 13 minutes is a long one.
Yeah, I mean, at least he does cool robot noises with the guitar in like the first couple minutes. That was cool.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of like synth envelopes and stuff in this entire Pike. It's a very synth envelope funk metal album. That's it.
There's some bluesy guitar solos.
I got a lot of Guitar Center vibes on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like but like a guy who's really good at Guitar Center, and then like his friend who like is just learning bass and is like, let me plug this into the bass envelope, and then but it's very I don't know. The guitar parts are pretty cool. Everything else gets very repetitive. There's not a ton of variation from, riff to riff or from song to song. It's the album does progressively get like more dynamic and softer as it goes, but that's about it.
I wrote in my notes that you could definitely do drugs to this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It was definitely chill enough and long enough.
Yeah, this is like a passing around a blunt album.
This reminded me of like a couple of pals, like they're married, they want to get away from the kids. They go to someone's garage. They just start jamming.
So you're saying dad band. You're saying dad band.
Hell yeah, dad band.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe too.
This is definitely a dad band album for
dad
sure.
band, Weekend, Guitar Center, all that stuff.
God, imagine if Buckethead was a dad.
He might be.
Bucket.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Like
little baby buckets.
Yeah, he's so secluded, like that he could be living a very normal life that we'll just never know about.
Do you think that the kids would have buckets though? Like,
oh yeah,
you got to get buckets for your kids. What are you doing?
Otherwise, how is he gonna know that that's his kid?
Exactly.
Like, he's gonna be like, "Where's my child? What are you doing in my home, strange child?"
Wouldn't it be great if the kids had to have like a religious exemption at school to like wear the buckets all the time?
Yeah, like no hats at school. This isn't a hat. It's basic. It's basically like his yarmulke, right?
Yeah.
Buckethead's bucket is his yarmulke. And funk rock is basically like, it's like the Judaism of the music world, right?
I don't know. Is it?
I think that's accurate.
Okay.
Funk metal and Judaism have a lot in common.
Please,
Spencer.
enlighten me.
When you think about it, you got hats.
Mm-hmm.
You got curly hair a lot of the time.
Okay.
People are involved.
Oh yeah. There's people.
Devin, with the save. Yeah, there's people. Yeah, that's
beautiful. Yeah, so I listened to this one. I definitely zoned out while listening to it. I thought it was fine. You know, it was
all right. It's what I'd consider one of the Pikes that's more of a jam album, where it feels like he just made some riffs, put them on loops, and then recorded one guitar track all the way through and called it good. Yeah, there's some good soloing and some good leads on there, but for the most part, it doesn't feel very planned or very, like there was a ton of intent for this entire album, especially coming off of Pike 52 Factory, which felt like there was a lot of intent in its construction.
What if these were B-sides?
I
don't know the difference between the A-sides and the B-sides and Pikes because there's just so goddamn many. Like
that is true. Yeah, it's difficult to say. You know, one interesting thing that I have observed is like with an artist like this that has so much output, it's like the differences between A-sides and B-sides. It just kind of like blurs together. It's like it's all.
There's no riff that's unused.
Yeah, right. It's all B+ sides. Like all of it.
It's more of a hepatitis B side.
Hepatitis B+.
Hepatitis BC Rich Warlock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hepatitis BD Wong.
Shut up. You're BD wrong about that. So, I don't know. You know what? It's City of Ferris Wheels. It's kind of boring. Like, guess
like
what?
A Ferris wheel.
A Ferris wheel. This would be a great soundtrack to a fucking Ferris wheel.
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. You know what? I think in that way, he hit the nail right on the head. Because this album is like a Ferris wheel in that I'm not interested in going on a Ferris wheel. Like, unless, like, it's like the big one here that takes, like, 10 minutes to go around and you could probably get blown in one. I'm not interested in a Ferris wheel.
That one rocks.
Yeah. I'm totally cool with Blowjob Ferris.
Wait, have you been on the big wheel in Seattle?
Yeah.
Oh, tell us about it. I haven't been on it.
Me neither.
It's expensive.
I bet.
Yeah.
How much was it?
I want to say like $15 or $20 a person.
Yeah.
It's actually less than I would expect for Seattle.
It's great for touristy pictures.
Do you get a cabin to yourself, or did you have to share it with other people?
We shared it. There was like 3 or 4 of us that were on it.
Okay.
It's kind of stinky,
Oh yeah.
Were the other people like friends of yours, or did they just? Okay. But so you would get, if it was just the two of you, they would give you a private one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just making sure I can get a blowjob on.
Yeah.
It's definitely sex friendly.
Interesting. Do you think that's where some of the smell came from?
I'm inclined to say probably.
I wonder how many condoms they have to pick up.
Where would it rate on a scale between Big Bass Pro Shop bathroom and AutoZone bathroom?
Are you implying that Bass Pro Shop bathroom is like the god tier of bathrooms? Because I don't know if I agree with that.
You could roll around on the floor of Bass Pro Shop.
Oh wow, okay,
it's good.
All right.
They at least have someone clean that one once a week. AutoZone, no,
you don't want to go to an AutoZone bathroom.
The only thing that's cleaning the AutoZone bathroom is the residual ammonia in the urine on the
floor.
No,
I know, that's why the ground is so discolored. It's amazing.
If you dropped a little bit of bleach on that floor, it would become napalm at this point. Or mustard gas.
I would say it's comparable to a Fred Meyer's bathroom.
Okay.
Fred Meyer down.
I don't think I get blown into Fred Meyer's bathroom. So.
Yo, Fred Meyer bathrooms down here. Let me tell you, I don't know what Fred Meyer bathrooms are like where you are, but they are gnarly here.
They're not as bad as the Safeway bathrooms here.
They're not as bad as the Safeway bathrooms.
Safeway's a bad time.
Yeah, Safeway's a bad time. But they are barely above Safeway. They're pretty gnarly. I've seen some gnarly shit in
the Fred Meyers here are considered the upscale grocery store outside of Whole Foods.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, here it's considered lower middle class.
Yeah, pretty much all of the Kroger stores are here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's a different vibe.
Very different. Pike 54, The Frankensteins Monsters Blind.
Yes.
Released
Try
on
saying
March...
that a bunch of times.
Yeah, The Frankensteins Monsters Blind.
Uh-huh.
And there's no like punctuation in here or anything,
No.
so it's not the I don't get the spelling at all. But
Yeah,
I'll just
I was copying it down from my notes, and I was like, I don't like typing this.
Yeah, me neither. So released on March 27th, 2014, exactly 4 days after the previous Pike, and I will tell you, it sounds like it took 4 days after the previous Pike, because it sounds like the previous Pike.
It really does.
I hated this one. I'll be honest. I did not like it.
It's fine. It was just as good as the last one because it sounds exactly like the last one. And I think what kind of like makes me the most disappointed about this album is the title is The Frankensteins Monsters Blind. So it sounds like it could be like horror related. And he's done some previous Pikes that Spencer and I have listened to that were intentionally horror related. One called Pumpkin and one called Pikes. And both of those were like a lot of like kind of horror soundtracky effects type stuff, and that's kind of what I was expecting here, but instead it's just another funk rock album. The only real difference between this one and the previous one is this one has a lot more electronic drums. That's it.
I felt like having a name for the album like that was a big missed opportunity.
Right, especially the 3 tracks on the album are track 1, Boris, track 2, Car, and track 3, Loff. Boris Karloff, who, played fucking Frankenstein. I mean, he's basically played every single, like, movie monster at one point in time.
The Mummy.
Yeah. He's played Dracula. Like, he's one of those guys like Christopher Lee, who is in literally every horror film in the 1950s and 60s.
I have a Christopher Lee tattoo.
What?
Oh.
That's dope. Have you ever listened to Christopher Lee's metal album, Charlemagne?
No. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah,
it's a power metal album.
Yeah, he made a symphonic power metal album where he's like, and King Charlemagne. It's pretty great.
It's not, which is why I love it.
When did it come out?
2012 or something like that.
I think
it was right after he No, it was before that probably because it was
2009 or 2010, something like that.
It was right after he had worked with Rhapsody for their album Symphony of Enchanted Lands 2, I think.
Yeah,
it's just correct. So but at this point he's like old, so that's sick.
Oh, isn't he dead?
Yeah, I think he's dead now.
Yeah, I think he died.
But no, he was like, I think it was like 80 something when this power metal album came out, and like he specifically because like, so do you know who Rhapsody is?
No, 80s? Did you say?
Yeah.
No, this was like in the mid.
No, he's saying he's in his 80s when they recorded.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Devin, do you know who Rhapsody is?
No.
So Rhapsody is a symphonic power metal band from Italy, and they're like the peak of like cheeseball like symphonic power stuff. Like they wear like lace shirts, and they have like music videos where they're like carrying swords, and it's really good, really fast guitar solos. I love Rhapsody. I have a very special place in my heart for them. But anyways, they got Christopher Lee to do some narration work on one of their records. I think actually 2 of their records. I think, isn't he in Reign of a Thousand Flames or something like that too?
Not Reign of. I think he might have been on the one after.
Yeah.
Symphony of Enchanted Lands 2, because that was the first time he worked with them.
Yeah, and so like,
he also worked with. He also worked with fucking Manowar. He did the part on Battle Hymns, the narration part for the updated Battle Hymns.
Wow. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to check this out.
He liked working with Rhapsody so much. He liked their music so much that he's like, I want to make a power metal album. Like, which is for a dude in his 80s, that is like one of the coolest things that you can do outside of just like slamming acid and being a weirdo. Is be like I want to make power metal albums, and it's great.
So this album, back to the Frankensteins Monsters Blind, like 54.
It was okay. I mean, I don't know. I listened to it. I was like, I don't hate this, but also I'm bored.
Yeah, because it was just like a continuation of the last album. It was like pretty much an hour-long Pike, which like, no.
I'm really glad that I broke up listening to these over 2 days,
Uh-huh.
I think if I would have listened to both of the last two front to back.
Yeah.
That was wise.
Yeah, so that's what I did, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're doing this again. But, like, weirdly enough, I expected that for some reason. Like, after hearing 53, I was like, he's going to do another one like this, isn't he? And I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, all right, here we go.
God damn it.
Here it is.
I just felt like the songs dragged so much that I don't really know, like, what's going through his bucket when he's like, all right, the song's going to be over now. Like...
We've made a point. We've made our point here.
Yeah, and so I'd honestly say I think this album is better than the previous Pike, but like I definitely like the electronic elements and the electronic drums a lot more than the drum programming on the previous album. But the fact that they sound so similar made me just dislike both of them.
See, I liked City of Ferris Wheels better because the last song on that one I thought was okay. Like, it has some nice melodies in the lead work, and like that was more interesting to me than the funk stuff on this one. Because this one is a little bit heavier on the funk stuff, and a lot of that tapping thing, where or not tapping, but the slapping thing he does, was like pepper to pepper to pepper to pepper pepper to pepper to pepper to pepper. A lot of that, and that's cool.
Well, on this album too, I definitely thought the bass lines were better. Like, all of these bass lines were mostly slap, whereas they were mostly just like root notes on the previous one. So it was fine. They were all fine. Solid 2.5s, both of these albums, maybe 2s. I don't know. Not fantastic. I thought this album, I don't know, I think it was supposed to be like, given the title and everything, for a ride that's more like Frankenstein or horror related, but it is just way too fucking funky for that. Like, if you had a ride called like Funkenstein,
oh shit,
that would work. Yeah.
That would be sick. But no, this sounds like the soundtrack. Not even a soundtrack. This just sounds like the music that they play in like one of the like fast food stands, like in the place. Like, it just sounds like that kind of stuff. It's like background music for like cooking shitty food quickly. Yeah,
and I'm actually noticing a pattern. I feel like we call it out. Basically, whenever there's a Pike we just don't like, it's always like a snack bar fucking album.
Snack bar Pike.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to listen to this, so hopefully it's in a place where like I walk up, get my thing, and leave.
Or it's in a place where I'm doing something so different than that I'm not bothered or distracted by this music.
I feel that. You got the fever for the flavor.
Oh, shit. Like hot action cop.
Baby.
Wah, 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 wah. It's the hot action cop alert. Whoa! Hot action cop.
Hey, all hot action cops are bastards.
That's the name of the episode.
Okay. I
really
do not disagree with that.
No, that's beautiful. Please tell me you're pulling up fever for the flavor.
Duh.
All right. Good.
I'd just like to point out this is exactly what happens when you don't have a single woman or queer working at your record company. This is why diversity in hiring is very important.
If bars ever come back, will you sing this at karaoke with me?
Yeah. Imagine a bar that has this on their karaoke playlist.
That's the bar we should be going to.
That's the bar we got to open, brother.
Hey.
That's the karaoke bar by the... I said I wouldn't work in Seattle. It's by the university. But I feel like Seattle's probably more like woke.
It would be really funny to like have a bar that does karaoke, but like we don't have any popular songs. Like it's only like shit that like people like ironically, or just like shit that people don't like at all.
Yeah, it's like all we have is Wilson Phillips' first album and Ween's entire discography. So just choose a fucking
song. So you gotta have a bunch of popular bands, but it's all of their deep cuts that nobody knows.
Yeah, totally. That's beautiful. I love that. Well, I believe it's time for us to get into statements from the Bucket Void.
Statements from the Bucket Void.
Bucket Void.
So why don't you explain it real quick to Devin?
So, statements from the Bucket Void is it's us calling attention to some of the Buckethead related content that people have put out on the internet. Specifically, I'm talking about YouTube comments. Because we listen to a lot of these albums on YouTube, sometimes there are some interesting discussions that take place beneath those listings. And so
absolutely.
I'm here to call it out. We'll talk about it a little bit. Now, a lot of these are, the reason why this segment is called Statements is because a lot of these things are literally just statements. Sometimes they're questions. Sometimes they're just little conversations, but I
have a feeling they're very declarative.
Indeed. You see a lot of, so let me talk about what I see a lot of. You're right. So what I see a lot of is I see a lot of people saying, probably the most common comment that I see underneath these videos are, Buckethead is not of this world.
Yeah, or Buckethead is the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Buckethead is the best. You get a lot of just very one-sentence praise for Buckethead.
Mm-hmm. And I will say this, the comments are overwhelmingly positive. Like, I have never observed, any kind of fight or, any kind of negative content on there at all.
That's kind of interesting, because I've heard if you don't have haters, you're not doing it, right.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard that.
The thing about Buckethead, though, is, I think he does have haters and detractors, but he's such a niche thing that they just don't listen. And they don't spend time hating because,
he's not in the limelight.
Yeah, he's not big enough to, be that hateable. Maybe back when he was in Guns N' Roses, maybe at that point, maybe there were some guys who are Buckethead, yeah, have you ever heard Bumblefoot, though?
Said no one ever. This is an anti-Bumblefoot podcast.
Said Bumblefoot on a anonymously on a forum at some point.
Yeah. So we see a lot of that, and it's great to not see that negative content on the internet. It's great to see people being positive about something that they like, and so it's fun. It's fun. So speaking of what I was just referencing, let's get into our first one here. YouTube user El Acedo says, 6 years ago, Buckethead is unreal in every way possible. Definitely a light being from the fifth dimension.
Fifth dimension.
Yeah. I liked the specificity of this one. I was like, it's interesting that we're calling it out so specifically. I don't know if that's a reference to something, but it's something.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up. Light being from the fifth dimension? I doubt it. I think he just made this up.
Even then, though, I appreciate the creativity. I appreciate the passion that goes into it.
No, definitely not a reference to anything. I wonder if he's a multi-pass from the Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Continuing our praise theme today, YouTube user R-Ick, not Rick, R-Ick, says, 11 months ago, thanks, BH, for the healing vibrations that emanate from your soul and out your skull into the ear holes of the masses. Keep bringing it, brother.
So, do we have any proof that Buckethead has a skull?
I mean, there's those those pictures.
That's what I was wondering.
No, I mean, it could just where does the bucket end and the rest of him begin? And do we have proof of this in any way?
It's a great question. It should say it comes out of his bucket.
That's what it seemed like a big missed opportunity.
Truly.
Yeah.
You see a lot of missed opportunities in Buckethead comment sections, let me tell you.
I bet you do. And actually kind of expanding on that, do y'all think Buckethead's hair has always been real?
Oh.
I think it might be a hair taped to the bucket.
Oh, yeah.
I think that as well, because then he could be completely inconspicuous in public at this point, except for the fact that he's very tall and his weird fingers and is only ever hanging out with Brian Mantilla, the drummer.
Yeah, I think that I think his hair is real. Yeah, I think so. As a dude with long curly hair, let me tell you, once you have it, you maybe you don't want to get rid of it.
Or maybe, what if he went bald, but he loved having the hair and didn't want to get rid of it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I asked if you thought it's always been real. But the thing is, if he went bald, even if it was horseshoe bald, he could still do that and keep the hair because you never see the top of his head,
Do you think the comment, because at the end it said brother, is a reference to Hulk Hogan's balding hair, but it's so long.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Good question.
Yeah, I love making correlations. That's great. The people love it.
Yeah.
The listener loves it.
For the fans.
I want to be a bucket maniac. Fun with my family and friends. That's all I'm saying.
We have a return comment today. This is our first return comment. I recognize this name. I've definitely read it out loud to you before. So this is second time around. YouTube user Terry Gerard says, 11 months ago, I heat my bucket.
I heat my bucket?
Heat. H-E-A-T.
I heat my bucket?
I heat my bucket.
Can we see where this user is from? Could there be like a language barrier, perhaps?
So there's definitely a lot of language barrier stuff that we see on Buckethead comment sections.
That's fine.
So there was one that I really wanted to talk about today, but it was really long and it was also like half in Spanish, and I didn't want to go through, talking in Spanish because I don't speak it. But basically, this guy posted something like it was another like very like praiseworthy comment about Buckethead, and then somebody responded in Spanish. Now the original post was in English, and the guy just responded, "Hey, I don't speak Spanish," and then that guy responded like 2 more times in Spanish, and then the guy was like, "Hey, that looks great, but I don't speak Spanish." And then there's another comment in Spanish. I don't know what's going on there.
That's when you reply with the long text form of the middle finger.
Oh, yes. Excellent. Yeah. The one where it's like 3D. It's like...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we love that.
Mm.
We love ASCII art here. We're big ASCII heads.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, ASCII heads, Og Vorvis heads... I feel like ASCII art and Og Vorvis kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, they kind of.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it too. YouTube user Totally For Sure says, 6 years ago, just lost half an hour in time to some beautiful music. Time traveling with Mr. Buckethead is cosmic bliss. I want to ask you, if you were to time travel with Buckethead, where is the first time period you would visit, and why?
I would go back to when they made that William Hooper movie and get a copy of it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. And then you got 2 Bucketheads in there. Like, wow, imagine what could happen.
I would personally take him back to the 1970s, and I would take him to a Parliament Funkadelic show.
Oh, that sounds nice.
And then encourage him to get up on stage and jam with them. So people...
So you could wreck the timeline for everybody?
Yeah. So like Eddie Hazel could like die sooner from like killing himself. But
holy shit!
Sorry, that was a dark funk joke.
Dark funk.
Not a lot of those in the ether. But
we got to put out more dark funk,
Yeah.
Funk's one of those genres where like I want to like it more than I do. Like there are aspects of it that I think are really cool, but also like it's so, by its nature, it has like an emotive quality to it that's always very like upbeat. And because of that, I feel like it's kind of a limited genre, and I don't know.
It can be.
Can be.
I don't know. At the same time, like, check out like Funkadelic's Maggot Brain.
Oh yeah.
Because that is a very diverse album.
It is. That is true.
Yeah.
Y'all
so
like Afrobeat?
There's a lot of stuff you know.
Like Afrobeat?
Fine.
Dude, I love Afrobeat, man. Fela Kuti, huge fan. Dude rips. He has like 30 albums. Crazy. And his story, amazing.
So, like what? Like an 18th of the albums Buckethead has?
Are we going to compare every artist to Buckethead? Is that what we have to do?
That's the point of this podcast.
Is it? Is there a point to this podcast? I can't even say podcast. Is there a point to this podcast? I don't even know.
Do you think in the in like the DuckTales universe they call them pod quacks?
I hope so.
No. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna jerk off to that thought later.
Please do. Please do. Yeah. You got to do it.
I have a question. So you're looking through all these comments.
Mm-hmm.
Are you flagging any of them?
Oh, so I screenshot the ones that I want to talk about here. Yeah. So I'm going through my screenshots currently, and I have, I don't know, probably around at this point, somewhere around 60 or so. I have them in a folder on my phone.
I think what would be interesting, I think Buckethead would appreciate it, is when you see someone, because you said the comments are generally positive, that when you see someone responding negatively, you get them banned from YouTube.
Hell yeah, dog.
I like that. Hate speech.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't appreciate bucket hate speech here.
God, I was just going to say bucket hates.
Of course you were. YouTube user Kyle DeCampos, 6 years ago, says, a very big part of me is starting to believe that he just lives in a studio now and has not been outside in a year and may have married his guitar. This is so much musin in the past year, and I'm so freaking happy with it. Thanks for the upload. That's it. Sorry.
Now, if he married one of his guitars, which one do you think it would be?
Well, I mean, just it's like 6-string electric, like not the baritone. That's the standard scale one.
The Gibson custom shop.
Yeah.
I mean that does have like a baritone like spacing on it.
Not the standard one. Isn't there a standard scale one? I thought there was.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I thought it came in a baritone scale and a standard scale.
Not unless they re-released it sometime. The original one was only released in the original scale.
Yeah, I don't know. That would make sense. Be pretty cool.
I personally think it would be his KFC Jackson V. The one that he played for pretty much, I mean, the majority of the shows he did with Guns N' Roses. And he played it, I think, primarily on Monsters and Robots as well.
Nice.
Yeah, nice guitar.
Have you ever thought about marrying an instrument?
No. Unless, well, I mean, do you consider a fleshlight an instrument? Because I can make that baby sing, you know what I'm saying?
I believe you.
Have you guys seen the documentary about mechaphiles?
What is that? Tell me more.
It's mechaphiles are people that are sexually and or romantically attracted to like cars.
Oh, okay.
And there's a documentary on YouTube about it, and it follows several people. And I'll just say that I don't want to give anything away, but I'll just say that it's not safe for work.
Oh, please give it away. As they say, give it away now.
One fella, as far as I can tell, it's consensual.
Okay.
I mean, the car didn't honk back or anything, or like flash the lights or anything.
Okay, good.
But definitely ejaculates into the car. I want to say into the gas tank.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's another guy who tells his dad that he is in love with his, like, I want to say he has a muscle car or something like that.
Okay.
And like comes out to his dad like, hey, I'm in love with my car. And the dad's just like, all right. But there's like, they have a camera crew with them. And at one point, one of the guys sneaks out at night to go fuck his car.
Oh, that's great. How does he fuck his car? Like stick his dick in the seat cushions? Like,
well, I think he either actually like enters the gas tank.
Oh wow.
Or he jerks off into the gas tank.
Do you think the smell of gas is something that like helps him get off?
I wish that he took a rag and soaked it in gas and then.
That'd be sick.
Oh yeah, that's hot.
You know,
that's good.
But definitely an amazing documentary that, 10 out of 10.
So these are the people that are making that like dragons fucking cars porn. Y'all follow dragons fucking cars? I was going to bring that up
because I love dragons, and there's also some pretty good dinosaurs fucking cars porn out there.
Yeah.
I need to check out I'll watch a lot of like the Vice specials on like different sex toy stuff. And there's the one about aliens.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like sex toys that are supposed to be like you're getting like impregnated with like alien eggs.
Nice.
Into it.
Yeah.
And I want to say they have one where it's like alien orifices.
Orify?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think the xenomorph's penis looks like? Do you think they have a penis that comes out of
they have
the
to.
penis?
They have to. Like
I don't know, because like the queen, you know, she.
Do you think she has a penis?
Oh, that'd be cool.
I think most of them are asexual.
Think so?
Well, because like she's got she's popped up with all the tubing and like she's not going anywhere.
True, but I will say, just to put it on record, I am totally here for the Queen Alien Femboy Dick. That's all I'm saying.
You know, do you think if like we made a Buckethead sex toy, what would we make? Would we make a bucket you could fuck, or like a bucket you could fuck yourself with?
I think it's a bucket you sit on.
Okay.
Yeah, and the toy would be called the Buckethead. Yeah, I think it would be just basically, honestly, just like a dildo that's like a penis-shaped dildo, but with the features of Buckethead. And so on the head, it would like have a mask, and then like, you know, and have like the actual bucket as the head, the bell end, if you will.
Well, they have like the little like facial strap-on things you can put on, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, we know.
What if they have like a bucket hat though?
Okay.
So it's like that.
Oh.
You know, and then you just, you know, like a human, you know, missile almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Speaking of which, have you all seen the Baldo? Oh wow, you haven't seen the Baldo? Oh, okay, so it is. It's a new thing. I think they're like they're running a Kickstarter or something right now. But it's a dildo for your balls. So basically, it's like a silicone device that you put your balls into that has like an end on it that you can fuck somebody with.
I see it.
It's real.
The world's first ball dildo.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
Cool logo.
Yeah, great logo.
I mean, theoretically, I guess that could work, I guess. But I feel like that'd be really uncomfortable for your balls. No?
Yeah, it's probably not great to stretch them out.
I don't know. The video, it says super soft comfort.
It says that.
I gotta watch this YouTube video later where you get to meet the founders of this.
Yeah, it's really something. I have watched it. It explains in great detail how the Baldo works.
Did it explain like how they came up with the idea? It was like, well, my penis doesn't really work, but my balls are still here. Can I fuck you with those? Like what kind of fucking dead bedroom do they have to where he's like, yeah, but what if I fuck you with my balls? Like,
it could be like a three-way situation where, you know.
Oh, where he's like, I have too many people to fuck and not enough penises.
yeah.
I got my
more
balls. Like,
yeah.
I can fuck you both at once. Just do the fucking double dragon back to back, and I'll just strap this thing on my balls and.
Or what if they're like, I'm tired of your balls hitting me in the face. You could, you know, prod me instead.
So like they'd be sucking the.
No. Like I imagine, like
Baldo?
I think I understand what you're saying. Like you got like balls hitting somebody's face, but they instead want to be smacked around a little bit by the thing hanging off your balls.
Yeah, so maybe they're like, one person's fucking someone, and then like, they're like, oh, I'm gonna climb underneath and like, suck on your balls. But then they're like, well, actually, you can suck on this toy instead.
That my balls are hanging from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, girl, suck my ball penis. Like,
my Baldo. Yeah.
It's all psychological. Like it's not going to feel any better. But
no.
You know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Human Baldo relations. You know. What it is.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm here for. Lastly, we have a very simple comment here. We're gonna leave it on this one. On a comment for the Pike 52 factory, YouTube user Brian Scott says, that was satisfactory. And factory is all in caps.
Oh, that's funny. That's a really good pun.
And so were those 3 albums. And here we are.
Satisfactory. Yeah, I mean, the factory was satisfactory. The other 2, I'm
just sad.
Yeah, sad.
Just saddest.
Without the is factory. Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, and that was
Statements from the Bucket Boy.
Devin. What do you got to recommend us?
I'm gonna recommend. Have y'all ever seen that show Yellowstone?
I haven't. No.
I'm obsessed. It's incredible. It's from it. It's like Wind River, Sicario, Hell or High Water.
Okay, big fan of those last 2.
Like, it's that vibe. It's in like Montana.
Interesting.
Every person on the show is more or less a scumbag, so you're rooting for the villains at this point.
Nice.
And it's got Kevin Costner.
Yep.
Always love a Costner vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I hate westerns, so I didn't think I'd like it, but I love like Wind River and Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised by how good it was. I'm on season 3 right now.
Oh wow!
Nice. I mean,
3 seasons. My goodness.
So my brother is actually the same way, and where he hates westerns.
Oh, hates them.
He loved Hell or High Water. Like loves things that are westerns without exactly the western aesthetic. Because a lot of people have said, and I definitely consider it, like Logan, the Wolverine film, was definitely a western.
Oh yeah.
Like the way everything was structured, like the ambience of it, like it was a fucking western film. Or like Bone Tomahawk is a western, but it's like a horror western, and that movie fucking rules.
Kurt Russell.
So good, love that film. And so it's just one of those things where it just depends on the vibe.
Yeah, and like Firefly is a space western, and those dorks are still fucking talking about that show, and it's been like 20 fucking years. So
well, yeah, I went on a Reddit thread today about like if you could bring back one canceled TV show, what would it be?
The top comment was Firefly, wasn't it?
Duh.
Of course it was. That's fucking Reddit's. That's the Reddit show.
Yeah.
Like
I mean the top comment should have been like Party Down.
Oh but, yeah, there you go. Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
What about fuck, why can't I think of it now? It was one season. Zach Galifianakis was on it. They were like a news team.
Bored to Death? Oh no, Man Bites Dog. Man Bites Dog was awesome.
No, Dog Bites
Man. Dog Bites Man. Yeah.
That show.
Matt Walsh was on that too. Yeah, that was a great fucking show. I loved that show.
That show was perfect.
Yeah.
Bored to Death was really good too, though.
It was.
I like Bored to Death a lot.
Ted Danson is great in everything he does. What a charming guy until he puts on blackface. Don't do that, Ted Danson.
It's not.
Don't do that, Ted Danson.
We hate to see it.
Yeah. What, Spencer? How about you? You got?
How about me? Yeah. Okay. I finished a video game recently. I know that I ain't gonna have a lot of traction with you, but I played a game called a very popular game. So it's like this is not necessarily like a great recommendation for some kind of obscure media, but Horizon Zero Dawn on the PlayStation 4 is a game I played, and I played through the whole game. And I don't finish games really all that often because I just like get bored and I do something else. Like I love video games. I like experiencing them for a short period of time, but then like moving on to something else, you know. But I actually stuck with this one to finish the whole game, and I really liked it a lot. I would recommend it.
Nice. I'm actually going to go back and recommend something we were talking about earlier, and that is the band Rhapsody, or also known as Rhapsody of Fire. And, this is going to be a very almost guitar-centric recommendation because their guitarist, Luca Turulli, is, in my opinion, maybe one of the best power metal guitarists of all time.
Yeah, he shreds. Dude.
He's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, We've seen Rhapsody live, but we haven't seen them with Luca Cerulli.
And they cut out the best solo. That was so disappointing.
That's because fucking the guy can't play it.
He can't play it.
Tim, whatever.
I hate that.
Yeah.
That guy sucks.
Yeah, he does. But no, they're known as kind of the not inventors, but one of the most predominant dragon metal bands, which is something.
Power of the Dragon Flame, famous record from them, a really good record of theirs.
Yeah,
I have a power metal question.
Yes.
So I don't know jack shit about power metal, but there's a guitar player from like hardcore bands who is in a power metal band called Eternal Champion.
Okay.
Never heard of them.
I was gonna ask, have you guys heard them? Like, all their like, I listened to it a little bit, didn't really like it, but all the imagery it reminds me of like Manowar.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And like that style of imagery.
Oh yeah, it was very, very sword metal.
And
From Austin, Texas, interesting.
I guess I'll say check it out. Apparently, it's good.
Okay.
The guy produces a bunch of stuff in Philly. But
sick.
Nice.
Yeah, their imagery is amazing. Like it's very.
That's an interesting crossover to me that I never really thought would exist, and that's a fan of both hardcore and power metal. Like they seem like mutually exclusive, like things to be into.
No, because they're all like about like brotherhood and community.
He like, I want to say he's like. I want to say he might be from somewhere in the Middle East, is where he was born.
Okay.
Interesting.
But just talk, because there was a podcast I listened to that he was on years ago, but talking about like getting into metal and how like over there a lot of it was very like not allowed. And he was in this band War Hungry for a minute, and they were like started out like a hardcore band, but by the end it was basically just metal. At that point, and once he joined the band, they were adding like tons of solos, and just like the songs went from like 2 minutes to 5 minutes, and just like so I've seen him play. He was also in this band Cold World, which was like lifted Metallica riffs over like hardcore.
I've heard that band.
We used to all like, me and like Neil and like everyone used to wear like Cold World shirts when we lived up there still.
Okay.
But he joined that band, and so that's like, I'm pretty sure I've like met him before at some point, but the dude's definitely like a full on like metal dude who just like I think is like in the hardcore scene, but like he's got like super long hair and just definitely like looks like he doesn't like aesthetically looks like he doesn't give a shit about hardcore. It's like
nice. Rad. That's good. That's great.
Yeah. I'll have to check those guys out.
Yeah, listen to Rhapsody though. I second your recommendation. Listen to
Victory.
Well, just type in Unholy War Cry into YouTube and then watch, or I don't even really watch, but just listen to Unholy War Cry. Listen to that amazing solo that dork didn't play live and that I am forever disappointed by. It's such a good solo.
Great band. Very stupid.
Is that it?
You got
Yeah.
There
you go.
Yeah, you gotta turn off your
Oh, Christopher Lee's on this song.
stupid
Christopher
filter.
Lee's on Unholy War Cry.
Yeah, he is.
He
Yeah,
is.
He
It
does a
just goes
narration part.
back around to Christopher Lee. It's Christopher Lee all the way down.
Yeah, that's why I recommended him. Like, yeah, no.
I love that.
I wonder how many. Let me see really quick. I'm gonna.
But there's
So Christopher Lee's monthly streams on Spotify is 34,000.
nice.
Okay.
Not bad.
Something. Oh, yeah, especially for a guy who's been dead for a few years and made that album like 13 years ago.
He's got a Christmas album.
He does.
A couple. He's got
Yeah.
a couple Christmas albums.
God, I hope they're like power metal Christmas albums.
I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah.
That's amazing.
On both the covers, he's got a guitar.
That's great.
Sick.
And he's
He doesn't
chilling.
play guitar. That's amazing.
Is he sitting down
hope-
like he was
Yeah.
in that video? Yeah. Yeah.
I hope they have Wallet Chain second vocalist on all this stuff too.
Yeah.
Speaking of wallet chains, do you guys remember that band Chimera?
Yeah.
I do.
That's a great segue.
It
I
really
just
was.
listened to their discography this week.
Nice. Tell us what you
How
thought.
was it? Oh.
It's not good.
Oh, bummer.
I liked their first couple albums when they were like a mix between like hardcore and nu metal.
Yeah, that's what I remember them for.
Like, I'm like, okay, cool. You have like heavy mosh parts and then like weird sampling and like very nu metal vocals. Mm-hmm. And by the end of it, they're just like full on like we're trying to sound like Suicide Silence and bands like that.
Oh,
which I don't like any of that stuff. And I was just like, this sucks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
hate to see it.
Yeah.
It was a miserable 6 or 7 albums.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot of
a time
music
commitment.
you don't like to listen to.
Yeah.
It's like I also did a deep dive in all the 36 Crazy Fist albums.
Wow.
Oh, hell yeah.
You want to know something interesting? Okay, I've played multiple shows with 36 Crazy Fists. They were all around Alaska, all that sort of shit. I have never listened to 36 Crazy Fists ever in my life. I've never watched them play. I've never cared about listening.
You've definitely listened to them because you have at one time driven in a car with Mercy.
That
that
might be true. That might have been on in a car with Mercy, but if it was, I didn't know.
You have listened to at least a full Himsa album and a full 36 Crazy Fist album at some point in your life. I did drive around
with Mercy a lot. That is true.
You could tell in their like career whenever they were getting pushed from the label of being like, you can't play nu metal anymore. You gotta play the stuff that the kids are into.
Yeah. You gotta do the fucking kill switch engage thing.
So they started playing lots of breakdowns and like having like the very like simple like Euro metal riffing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the last couple albums was like, okay, we're old. We're gonna play like, it just sounds like pseudo ballad bar metal.
Yeah.
So with like a couple,
just like modern,
like a couple heavy songs thrown on there, like.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm surprised they're still a band.
They're still a band.
Yeah. Well, they're still probably under contract from Roadrunner, and Roadrunner is like a pretty big label. So.
Dude, they're on some weird.
Or are they on a new? Did they get dropped finally from Roadrunner?
I think they were on Roadrunner, then they were on. They did Ferret for a little while, then Ferret went under. Let me see. Like, the last album was in 2017.
Christ, they have 8 albums?
Wow.
Spine Farm Records, which is like I think a subsidiary of Universal.
Yeah, I've heard of Spine Farm. I think they're all metal, right?
Mm-hmm. They're a European label.
I feel like they're a band that's definitely bigger in Europe, without question.
Yeah, like I can't. So yeah, I don't even know what that band sounds like. I have no idea. But at the same time, I kind of know. Like, I have a picture in my mind, and I'm pretty sure I'm accurate. But
think of all the heavy bands in Anchorage that came out post like Mercy Should Hurt, but weren't being influenced by like the bands that Mercy Should Hurt was influenced by.
Yeah.
And that's what they sound like.
That's what I'm imagining. Yeah.
Theory of Hate is like 36 Crazy Fists, light, caffeine free.
Oof.
Yes.
Wow.
What was that place that they always... Sammy's? Was that the name of it?
Oh, right.
Out in Wasilla?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It was like an old Domino or old Godfather's Pizza.
Yeah, I don't think I ever went there. I remember seeing pictures from that place, but it was like that. Like the valley was just so
weird.
far away that I was like, I don't care. Like, why would I drive out there?
Very true.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. It was sick when Trash Talk played that Christian venue, though, out in the valley. We opened for them. That was dope.
Yeah, that little tour we did with them was fun.
It was really fun.
We played 3 shows with them.
Yeah.
Sick. I think that was right after I moved.
And then, like, we went to Justin's cabin. Yeah. Oh. And, like, spent the night at Justin's cabin with them. That was weird.
Oh, right. I don't think I was there for that part.
I slept in the laundry room, and, like, I was fucking in the laundry room, and, like, all the members of Trash Talk kept on, like, knocking on the walls and shit. It was weird.
Those guys do a lot of drugs.
Yep. They do. They smoke. They like out-smoked Corrupture, which...
Yeah, we were...
Pretty Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember they played a show here one time. They got to the show on time. And then they ended up, I think, smoking weed in their van for like 3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, straight up weren't getting out. And then they ended up playing at like almost midnight.
It's kind of amazing.
And like, it was the type of thing where like, there was quite a few people there, and people had been waiting around so long, but that by the time they played, everyone was in a bad mood, and just ended up like beating the shit out of each other.
Sick.
And like, they seemed frustrated when not enough people were like moshing, that they were getting mad. It was a whole thing. It was a cool show, but it was weird.
Yeah, it's a vibe. That's a vibe. Yeah.
Indeed.
All right, so Devin, where can we check out your output, whatever you're doing?
Oh yeah. What you got anything to plug?
Yeah.
I sing in a band called Rejection Pact. We have a 7-inch out that you can get on Death Wish Records. It's on their web store. Our label, Safe Inside Records, does all their like distro through them, so it's on their site. We were supposed to have a 12-inch out this year, but because of COVID, we just kind of were like, finally, like, fuck it, we're just gonna record later. So I think we're gonna actually try to record some stuff ourselves and just put that out in the meantime this year.
Nice.
For fun. Like, our drummer has like a studio in our practice space, so we're like, oh, we can just record that ourselves and wait to put out the 12-inch next year.
There you go. Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, if you just search Rejection Pact, we're on all the streaming things, and pretty easy to find.
Hell yeah. Excellent. Love that.
Yeah. Where can we find you, Spencer Hodge?
You can follow me at New Metal Karate Society on Instagram. That's what I do. I post funny pictures. Or questionably funny pictures. I don't know. Depends on if you're into that.
You mean memes. You post memes.
Shut up.
I can be found at The Queer Goth on most socials, and we can be found as a podcast at either a Bucketcast or Bucketcast on most socials. So just you can Google it.
What's the email?
gettinheadabucketcast@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Nope.
Love that.
I love the picture of, why can't I think of the name? Mike Myers.
Wait.
Cat in the Hat is Buckethead.
The Cat in the Hat.
Yeah. Britt hates it. I like that you like it because I love it too.
I find it deeply unsettling.
It definitely has like Pee Wee Herman vibes.
Yeah,
nice.
It definitely has a vibe that makes me uncomfortable.
Yes.
Pee Wee doesn't make me uncomfortable at all. Pee Wee makes me like, Pee Wee is like a genderqueer icon. Like, I love Pee Wee Herman. Alrighty, you fellas want to wrap this up?
Let's do it.
Hey, this has been Britton.
And this has been Spencer.
And this has been Devin.
You've been listening to Gettin' Head, a Bucketcast.
Stay greasy, Bucketheads.
Namaste.